name is Azadeh Kian. I'm a professor of sociology in France, University of Paris.
You talked about your trips to Iran, specifically to rural areas, Sistan, Balochistan, and Golestan. How did you collect data there, and why?
Well, actually, I've been doing field work in Iran for the past 15 years, and some parts of the surveys taken were in 2002 to 2004, where we had over 32,000 people in our survey, quantitative survey, throughout Iran, both in rural and urban areas. And then from 2004 onwards, I've been doing interviews with a sample of women and youth who were in our survey, quantitative survey, actually. And what we found out is that, for instance, the average age at the first marriage has gone up tremendously, both in rural and urban areas. The average age is now 23 for women. That, for instance, fertility rates have gone really down. Today, the number of children per fertile woman in Iran is only 2, as opposed to 7 at the time of the revolution. The literacy rate for women is very high. 80%, over 85% of Iranian women are not literate, and in rural areas 70% of women are literate. So these actually literacy rates and the fact that women can now participate more actively in the social life of their country, but also cultural life, have also led to an increasing participation of women in the education of their children. For instance, I have seen that many lower class women who are themselves illiterate now really want to send their daughters up to university, because they think that if they are poor and if they were forced to marry and so on, it's because they were uneducated, and so they want a better life actually for their own daughters or children. So what I really tried to show this morning was the contradictions between the reality of Iranian society after the revolution and laws and legislation that try sort of to control the population, and that do not match with the reality of Iran.
Do you give the government any kind of credit for the improvement in literacy rates?
Of course. And what I was trying to show is that there are reciprocal influences between state and society on each other. And if today in Iran, wherever you go in the most remote villages I've been to, even in Balochistan, you have school, you have dispensaries, and you have medical doctors sometimes who come to these villages. It is thanks also to the state, because civil society alone could have never done or make some such infrastructures. Roads, electricity, drinking water in villages. This is, of course, post-revolutionary state, but we should not forget that we're talking about a post-revolutionary society. That is to say that people really also demanded that state provide these facilities to them. But then there are unintended consequences. Of course, when a woman is educated, she knows what's going on elsewhere. She knows that being beaten or being taken as an inferior being is not normal, and so she does everything she can to sort of acquire equal rights for her and for her daughters.
Right. You said in your lecture, you took a picture of a woman in Sistan, Balochistan, and you had difficulties. You didn't want her pictures taken. How difficult was it to collect data?
It is, but it is very difficult, of course, to work, to do field work in Iran in general, especially rural areas in particular. But then I sort of have been doing this for the past 15 years.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.